A remembrance was held today for Tim Haas, the man who was hit by a car and killed while riding his bike on New Year's Eve. Plus, a more than 40-hour manhunt in Canton, Ohio for a 15-year-old ends after he turns himself in. All of this after the shooting and death of his 12-year-old brother. The details coming up. And flu cases are surging nationwide, putting infants and young children at a higher risk. Tonight, we have what doctors say parents need to know. Well, welcome into WTOL 11 News at 6. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for spending some of your afternoon with us. We'll get to all those top stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's bring in meteorologist John Birchfield. John, a cold and breezy day today. What are we going to see leading into the rest of today and into the start of the work week?
Well, Michael, turning up the temperatures a little bit, so not going to be quite as cold, but still breezy. So we'll call it a milder and breezy start off to the work week. Southwesterly winds are going to be gusting to about 30 miles an hour both Monday and Tuesday as temperatures gradually climb up into the 40s. Our current temperature reading is right at the freezing mark in Toledo, 31 in Bowling Green. Here's some of those snow showers that may have coated your front lawn earlier, now exiting off towards New England. Now, the hour by hour shows you clearing skies tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed that beautiful sunset. There is going to be a little more upper level cloud cover that moves in Monday afternoon, but overall a really nice day. A milder breeze, 38 degrees, and we climb up into the mid 40s by Tuesday. Now, temperatures come crashing down late week. I'll preview those temperature swings coming up in your 10-day forecast.
Toledo police are investigating this morning after a man was found dead in a central Toledo home last night. This was the scene at the home on Rockingham Street between Collingwood Boulevard and Cherry. Police say this is where they found 34-year-old Willis Johnson dead after being shot. If you know anything about this shooting, call or text Crime Stoppers at 419-255-1111. You can remain anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward. Turning to national headlines, anti-ICE protests continue around the nation 4 days after the death of 37-year-old Renee Good, who was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Today in Minneapolis, ICE raids continue, sparking outrage. On CNN's State of the Union, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said ICE is doing its job and the ICE agent who killed Renee Good acted in self-defense.
This officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it, and he defended his life and those colleagues around him and the public.
It is not acceptable for Kristi Noem and the president and the vice president to make these kind of judgments without there being a full investigation.
The White House says the case will be investigated exclusively by the FBI. Right now, flu cases are surging across the country. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that there have been more than 15 million cases this season, making this the worst season for respiratory illnesses since at least 1998. And many healthcare professionals warn illnesses are likely to climb. Jen Sullivan is tracking the latest data.
Each night, toys are sanitized as employees at this daycare center in Des Moines, Iowa, try and fight off germs as flu cases in their area surge.
We mop the infant room floor twice every night, once with just warm water and once with a sanitation.
Nicole Scatino-Talley is the director of the Angelique Christiani Child Development Center. Some of the children here are infants and aren't eligible for the flu vaccine yet. It's recommended for 6 months and older. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says children under the age of 2 are at a particularly high risk of developing serious complications from the flu, which is why employees here are taking extra precautions. But this is a nationwide problem. Flu cases across the country have skyrocketed, topping an estimated 15 million. This map from the CDC shows multiple states experiencing high or very high levels of the flu. Roughly 180,000 people have been hospitalized and 7,400 have died. Most of the cases are from a severe strand of influenza A known as subclade K.
This subclade K, which is a new strain that probably is not included in the current vaccine.
Many healthcare professionals are worried cases will continue to rise.
The flu vaccine absolutely prevents severe illness, prevents hospitalizations.
The CDC estimates 130 million doses of the vaccine have been distributed nationwide this season, but that covers less than 40% of the U.S. population. Jen Sullivan, WTOL 11.
Now, as of January 5th, the Lucas County Health Department tells us the number of people hospitalized with the flu in this county have tripled compared to last year. And we're seeing rising cases of RSV and COVID as well. The health department stresses the importance of getting vaccinated. This afternoon, the Toledo bicycling community stepped up to honor a man killed in a crash in Point Place on New Year's Eve, setting up a memorial for 44-year-old Tim Haas. Dominique O'Neill went to the memorial event earlier today and joins us in studio. Dom, how did they pay tribute?
Well, Michael, now at the same intersection where Haas passed away, there's now something called a ghost bike to serve as a memory of Tim and a reminder to drivers to slow down. The white bicycle is a symbol used nationwide to honor cyclists killed on the road and to urge drivers to stay alert. Friends, family, and fellow cyclists met at the intersection of Summit Street and 131st Street to place the memorial. One of the members of the B-Team Bike Club and Odd Fellows Bike Club helped organize the memorial alongside Toledo Bikes to bring the community together and raise awareness about cyclist safety.
It means a lot to me. I've been riding bikes my entire life. I grew up, my parents owned a bicycle store here in Point Place. So it means a lot to me to see the community coming together like this. I'm really happy with the turnout we have today.
And Haas was also a longtime cook at Dino's Diner in Maumee. His death convinced the owner to close the restaurant doors for the last time, saying without Tim's warmth, energy, and working at the restaurant would never be the same. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thank you, Dom. Parents and students at Springfield schools are still being impacted by an ongoing strike. Nearly 100 support staff have been striking since last Wednesday over rising healthcare costs. And that's causing some adjustments for students and parents, like a change in school start and end times, no running buses, as well as no breakfast and only bagged lunch for sale. Now, we're told the two sides have not come together, but a mediator requested a meeting tomorrow. Well, here's something that may affect your morning commute. A road closure will last for 48 hours starting early tomorrow morning. Starting at 9 a.m., eastbound Dorr Street between Peely Street and Warwick Avenue will be closed for 2 days. The closure is due to a sewer project that is taking place. A detour will be available via Westwood Avenue to Nebraska Avenue over to Parkside Boulevard. Drummond Road will also be closed during the same period, also due to a sewer project. Toledo City Council is set to approve payment for a demolition work at a burned-out South Toledo home where a woman's body was found. Toledo police searched the home on Baden Street for 63-year-old Rinda Brown a month after it burned down and found her body in the rubble. Toledo City Council will vote later this month to approve a $24,000 payment to the company which demolished it and clean up the site. Maumee's new mayor is set to give an update on the city this week. Mayor Chelsea Ziss is set to give the 2026 State of the City address on Tuesday, outlining her vision for Maumee's future as she starts her tenure in the new role. Ziss took over as mayor last month after former Mayor Jim McDonald stepped down. She will finish out the remainder of her term, which runs through December of 2027. The manhunt in Canton, Ohio for a 15-year-old that police considered armed and dangerous is now over. He turned himself in and is accused of shooting and killing his 12-year-old brother. Michelle Nix has the details.
Balloons, a teddy bear, and candles that burn brightly, even in the rain, as if tears are falling from heaven. The memorial to remember a 12-year-old boy shot just before 11 Friday night inside of his family's apartment on Ellis Avenue Northeast in Canton. Canton Fire rushed the child to Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital, where he died. The tragedy has left neighbors nearly speechless.
It's heartbreaking because I got a 12-year-old as well. I didn't know him very well, but I used to see the little boy outside playing and being a kid.
For more than 12 hours, police searched for the armed suspect, a boy not much older than the victim. Detectives believe the 15-year-old shot and killed his own brother. We are not naming him because he's initially charged as a juvenile. Neighbors concerned about the influx of guns in the wrong hands.
It's very hard to say that where the gun came from because you can just get it off the streets.
Just watch what you're doing with them and don't have them out in the open where kids can get them.
The 15-year-old suspect eventually turned himself into police on Saturday afternoon and is now charged with reckless homicide. And the reality? One family that lives here is now facing two tragedies. One child, the victim of crime, the other, punishment if found guilty in court. Police aren't saying if the shooting was accidental.
Now, part of the investigation is to determine where the gun came from. As for that 15-year-old suspect, it's unclear whether he'll be charged as an adult or as a minor. Coming up, Iran's latest crackdown on protests may be backfiring. Protests are growing, and U.S. officials are weighing potential military intervention options.
Well, it is going to briefly turn milder with temperatures that'll be climbing up into the 40s by Tuesday, but it's not going to last. You will see a significant January cool down in my 10-day forecast. That's next.
Welcome back in. With our WTOL 11 weather team forecasting highs near freezing again today, Toledo is opening overnight warming centers. St. Paul's Methodist Church is opening from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. That's happening tonight. It's open to both singles and couples, and those in need of transportation to the site can arrange a ride by calling 211. Other local organizations will also be expanding capacity. Cherry Street Mission will be open 24 hours a day, and St. Paul's Community Center will be open to adults from 5:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily. Let's get things over to meteorologist John Birchfield with a look at when we can expect the latest with the weather. John?
Well, there are going to be some colder January days ahead, but we'll enjoy the brief warm up while it's here. Monday and Tuesday, a milder feeling breeze. Those temperatures gradually reaching the 40s with winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Our current temperature map showing you 32 in the metro, 28 in Norwalk, 30 in Hillsdale. And here's some of the snow showers that swept through earlier, leaving behind a light coating of snow. Those are now exiting off towards the east coast. Hour-by-hour forecast showing you clearing skies tonight. Perhaps you saw a little bit of that sunshine this evening. It is going to be mainly sunny to start the day. That'll be really nice for beginning your work week. And into the afternoon, a bit more wispy upper-level cloud cover is expected. A milder breeze. Temperatures do climb well above freezing. However, there are going to be southwesterly winds gusting to 30 miles per hour, so you can plan on a breezy setting. The hour-by-hour wind gust forecast showing you those 30-mile-an-hour gusts already for the morning bus stop. Into the afternoon, we do see a slight reduction in the winds, but then Tuesday, right back at it with some 30-plus-mile-an-hour wind gusts as some milder air works on in. Temperatures climbing up into the 40s with a breezy and warmer day Tuesday, and then a weak clipper system comes in midweek. That is expected to bring on some rain and snow showers followed by a big cool down. In fact, we go from 40 down to 25 by Thursday. I want to break down the hour-by-hour forecast. Tuesday is going to be a mostly dry day. There's going to be snow in the northern parts of Michigan. A brief little band of showers could clip our area Tuesday afternoon, but much of the day is just going to be mild and breezy. Now, Tuesday night into Wednesday, that stronger cold front works on through, and there will be some rain and snow showers sweeping into the area midweek, along with that clipper system. We do dry out Wednesday night and into Thursday, but behind that front, a sharply colder breeze is anticipated. Now, overall, the rain chances looking fairly sparse. There is that 20% chance of a shower on Tuesday, 30% rain, snow on Wednesday. We do have a quiet day Thursday, but colder, and then into next weekend, a slight chance for snow showers Friday and Saturday. So overall, it is going to be a fairly quiet week of weather, but it is going to be turning colder. That clipper drops us back to the 20s Thursday. We do spike back to 30 Friday and then into Saturday, but by next Sunday, temperatures dipping down into the lower 20s, and the middle part of January is looking considerably colder with highs in the low 20s. Michael?
All right, thank you, John. An ongoing internet blackout and violent crackdown by security forces in Iran aren't stopping Iranian civilians' demands for regime change. In fact, according to CNN, they say those measures are pushing even more people to the streets. Video posted on social media yesterday shows protesters gathered in Tehran, Iran's capital, the latest development in 2 weeks of anti-government protests. And the regime has responded in force, arresting thousands of people and promising to treat them without mercy. A U.S.-based human rights group says dozens of demonstrators have been killed, and protesters describe brutal scenes of security forces firing tear gas and shooting people with live ammunition. And now President Donald Trump is reportedly weighing a series of potential military operations in Iran. That's according to CNN, due to the recent violence in Iran. The two U.S. officials say Trump has been briefed on a number of different plans for U.S. intervention. The officials say several options presented to the president intended to target Iran's regime stop short of military strikes. More formal briefings are expected in the coming week. That includes a meeting on Tuesday with a senior national security officials to discuss how to proceed. Iran's hardline parliamentary speaker is warning that Tehran will treat U.S. military and commercial bases as targets for retaliation. That's if the U.S. intervenes militarily. Meanwhile, President Trump is warning Cuba is, quote, needing to make a deal about Venezuelan oil. On social media on Sunday, Trump said that no more oil or money would be going to Cuba. However, he urged Cuban officials to make a deal, quote, before it's too late. Trump also said that security services that Cuba provided for Venezuela would be ending. Cuba's president rebuffed Trump's demand for a deal, saying the island is an independent and sovereign nation that won't be bossed around. Meantime, a federal judge has halted the Trump administration's freeze of $10 billion in social assistance and child care funding for 5 Democrat-led states. The judge ordered Friday that the White House must remove any restrictions on the state's ability to access the funds while the case moves forward. The freeze was carried out due to, quote, serious concerns about widespread fraud and misuse of taxpayer dollars in state-administered programs, unquote. The ruling comes a day after the 5 states, California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York, filed a lawsuit claiming the funding freeze was unconstitutional. Coming up, how one local drive is making a difference for the homeless, giving away more than 2,000 pairs of socks, along with meals and health checks. Welcome back in. Over 2,000 pairs of socks were given away today to the people who need it most. The socks were collected for the Sock It to the Homeless drive. That's organized by the former owner of Toledo Hemp Center, Kevin Spittler. Along with socks, guests were offered a warm coffee, warm meal from 419 Cares, canned goods, and clothes. On their way out, guests also got the chance to have their blood pressure and blood sugar checked as well.
The best 2 or 3 hours of my week are spent right here. The joy for us and for all volunteers is in the giving. So we share not only our food and our drinks, but we're trying to share our humanity and help as many people as we can.
Volunteers with the 419 Cares says they look to help over 100 people today. 419 Cares say they're always looking for more donations. Dog owners, listen up. It's that time of year to get your dog's state license renewed. By law, all dogs are required to be licensed in the state of Ohio. Owners have until January 31st before the license doubles in price. Leaders with Lucas County Canine Care and Control say they can help with the process too.
But it's literally just a form where you fill out your information, your dog's information, and then our clerks take it from there to handle it. And you can get it anywhere almost in Lucas County. There's tons of places. The best thing about a license is it's a ticket to your dog's going back home. So they don't have to come to the shelter if they're wearing it. The number is unique to you, unique to your dog, so that we can pair you guys up, get your dog back home.
Now, even if this is your dog's first license, Lucas County Canine Care and Control say the process is the same. You can also access the license form online over at their website. Well, we're well into January, but if you're just getting those Christmas decorations down and have some bad lights, tomorrow's the final day you can drop them off to be recycled. You can drop off those broken lights at most Genoa Bank locations or at Nature's Nursery in Waterville. For every pound collected, Recycling Center AIM E-Cycling will donate 20 cents to the nursery. A new restaurant is getting ready to open its doors in Holland. Roosters is set to open tomorrow. That's when it's holding a grand opening at the new store on Knights Inn Place from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We'll be right back. Coming up tonight at 11, Maumee launched its celebration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States today. A special kickoff event was held with local students debuting a unique, locally inspired historical presentation. The event started at 3 this afternoon at the Maumee High School Performing Arts Center. A deeper dive into the celebration, that's coming up tonight at 11. And today is the day to celebrate the beverage that goes so well with cookies. We're of course talking about milk, and it's National Milk Day. It marks the day that milk was delivered in glass bottles for the first time, not the first time people started drinking it. Fun fact, the U.S., along with Australia, exports more milk and milk products than any other country. That's actually quite a surprise to me, John.
I'm not that surprised, honestly, because I feel like ice cream, it goes into a lot of other products.
Now, are you a dairy boy? Are you a big fan?